Hi guys, having a bit of a look at the GS today. I took it out last week for a ride. Went well, hadn't been used much this year. Did some gravel roads, a little bit of unevenness. It was a good ride. We were with a bit of a bunch of mixed bikes, a couple of guys on street bikes on gravel roads, so they were going a bit slow, but I had a good time. However, halfway through, my starter stopped and I had to stop on hills and clutch it every time I wanted to start. So just want to show you what happens. Nothing. It doesn't even try to turn over. It's just a click and it zeroes out the clock. I don't know if you can see that. Every time I do it, it zeroes out. So done a bit of reading. Two things that come to mind. There's a talk about an earth strap. I think it's mounted under the fuel tank, but on top of the gearbox or somewhere in that space there. However, my real suspicion is it's a faulty starter because it's not even cranking. It's not even trying to do that whir, you know, that rolling over. So I'm going to just have a bit of a play. I'm going to see if I can get that starter off. And I want to try and do it without disconnecting the battery because you can see I've got a few accessories connected. It's a pain in the neck getting that battery. That battery is less than 12 months old. So I'm pretty sure it's not a battery issue. And if it was, you'd be getting that whirring or low whirring noise. You can see I've had the multimeter out. I've got 12.7, 12.8 volts at the battery too. So diagnosis says it's something maybe with the starter. I'm going to pull that off. If I can get it off, stick it on a bench and just run it off a normal battery. We'll see if that works. I'll bring you back in a minute. Right, so when removing this, there's a 4mm Allen there that just gets cracked. Now, when you pull this off, there's an electrical connection behind this power charger, and I think this sort of slots in with a couple of pins, so there's nothing to do, you just have to pull this out. So we'll just pull this cover off. Just pull that out. It slides to one side. There's a bit of wiring here that just needs to pop under, and there's a connector just on the back there. So you can see that connector, I've just popped that off, just needed two hands. Put that to one side, and I'm guessing if I disconnect, and I don't want to arc these out, I haven't disconnected the battery, but disconnect these, I think I read that there's an Allen key there, which is bigger than 4, but I'll get the right one for that. And there's another one down in here somewhere. I'll see if I can get the right tools and remove that. So I've just loosened that top connector off. That's just a 13mm. Unscrew that. Below there's just a lead there. Oh, there was a copper washer on that. I'll grab that in a minute and pull that little lead off. Now I think the next one is to get that one off. Just need to be careful I don't arc anything out here taking this off, because I've still got the battery connected. Maybe it's a good idea to disconnect the battery if you're doing this at home. I may even do that. So actually on closer inspection, I'm not sure that needs to come off. I'm assuming that top one's the positive, and it actually earths back through just the mounting bolts. So there may only be one connection on this. I'll keep experimenting. The next thing I'll do, I'll try and pull this off. I'll get this, I just measured it. It's a 6mm Allen. I think that fits in there quite nicely. I haven't cracked it yet, but I'll get that off. As I say, there's another one somewhere, sneaky little fella down here somewhere. I'm not sure you can see that, but the bolt, the Allen nut bolt is, oops, just there. Bit hard to get to. I'll put a socket on that one, I think. That's pretty hard to get to actually, but I've put that socket, Allen 6mm Allen socket in, and I've just cracked it with that elbow, and I think that'll come out. I don't know how anyone thought that was a great location for it, but I think it's coming out now. So that's the rear one. I've just cracked that one already. That's the front one. They're the same length by the look of it, so I don't think it matters if they get interchanged. Now the question is, does that just, look at that, it just lifts out. And there we have it. I'm going to put that on the bench and just see what happens. I might see if it starts on the bench. I guess that eliminates the problem that I thought I had. Alright, we'll see what happens there.
Yep, going.
Right guys, I've got the starter off the bike. I'm just going to hook that up to positive. At the moment, we should be able to get the starter motor. So that's the starter. When you hit the starter button, it puts a positive charge to that, and that's positive there. I'm going to just connect that to that. So this will simulate start, and it earths out on the body, so you can see there it's engaging but not spinning. Righto, we'll clean that up as best we can. If it cleans up, it might spin. I'll bring you back once I've cleaned it. Thanks. Right, yeah, guys, bit of an update. If you're after a genuine starter motor for BMW R1150 GS, you're up for $1,100 if you're living here in Australia. That's $1,100 for a genuine starter. Now I've just rung Bryson's here in Newcastle. They're my local BMW dealer. They can also get me an aftermarket model part for $245, I think it was. So I've ordered that. Now the only problem is, whilst it'll take less than a couple of seconds between this shot and when you see me fitting it, there's in fact a 4-week wait. So I'm going to wait the 4 weeks, get that part. When I come back in a second or two, you'll see me fitting it, but there has been a bit of a time. But I am not going to buy $1,100 part. If there was no alternative, I'd basically be parking the bike on a hill for the rest of its life and clutch starting it, because I'm not paying $1,100 for a starter. Anyway, that's where we're at. I'll see you in a minute, hopefully, and we'll be fitting it. Bye.
Well, hi guys. It's 5.5 weeks since the last shot you just saw. And in that time, I've been waiting for this box. I haven't opened it yet. But that's the, hopefully, new starter. So that's the old starter. Here's the new one. So I'm going to open the box, just check that it looks about the right size and shape. and then we're going to fit it back onto the GS. Rightio, there's the new one, and it sort of looks all good. I'll trial it on the GS now and make sure that it actually fits. So just before I put this on, I've just popped a bit of tape on that lead there, just so that it doesn't, if it touches any of the body of the starter, it'll arc, because that's negatively earthed to the frame, which then earths the starter. The other thing is, make sure you've got that little locating nut there, or little locating lug, sorry. Make sure that's there. Just pop these out of the way, and I'll pop this on. That was a little bit tricky. Just getting the rear bolt in is a bit of a job. I popped it in. I used this elbow just to get a little bit of bend. Push the side stand down and you can get the extension onto the bend down through here. And I haven't torqued them up yet. I'll torque them up in a second. I just want to get them aligned. So that's fitting, at least. Okay, that's all in, it's tight. I've disconnected the battery so we don't have any dramas, and we'll get that tape off and connect all these connectors back up. Right, I've just wheeled it outside so we can do the start-up test. Ignition on, starter on. Perfect. That's great. I'll take it for a test ride in a minute, so that's really, really good. Make sure it wasn't a fluke. It's working really good. Righto. Alright, well I took it for a ride. Starter's working all fine now. The only problem is that ABS is still tripping out on the rear brake, so it's probably got nothing to do with that starter drawing too much current. It's probably a case that the ABS has finally failed on this thing. Anyway, I'll have a bit of a play with that, and that might be another video, but we'll see. If I end up winding it up here, that's it guys. Starter's obviously fixed, one tick, but might still have a problem with this rear brake. So what's happening is, if I lightly brake, no problems. If I brake hard, I get the brake fault light come up on the dash here, and I lose power assistance as well. So it's just takes a lot of foot pressure obviously to drive it, to put any pressure on the brake. I'll keep looking. Okay, looks like that'll do it for us today. Thanks guys.